That's all good. So, all right, so you ready? Let's
I'm
do it.
ready. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Dave Shimoleski here. This is Behind the Brand, brought to you by Direct Line Media. And our famous 60-second video, I just had to throw that in there. I think this is episode number 7, but don't quote me on that. I'll find out once I sit down and start uploading this thing. Anyway, I got a super special guest with me here today, Ruan Marinho. Nailed it?
Kind of.
Cool, all right.
Marino, but
Marino.
I'll
It is
take
Marino?
There is
all
an
right.
H in there.
There is an 8, yeah, okay, cool. And with Develomark. So thanks, man. You brought the crew with you, or some of the crew.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, thank you so
awesome.
much for having me. I appreciate it. As you know, I love doing stuff like this.
Yeah, I know you do. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of our history.
Sure.
If I know somebody, I start off with that. And so I met you, I don't know, one of these chamber things, and it was you and your laptop, and you're going around, and you're like, dude, check this out. Look what I can do.
I was like a monkey.
Right? Look what I could do. I was like, that's really cool. And we're bouncing around, did a little work together and all that kind of stuff. And now here you are, what is it, a year and a half later, huge office space in Southington. You got a staff of I don't know how many, and you seem like you're killing it, man. So I want to know, what was the, if you could pull out one thing that allowed you to grow that fast, what would that be?
I think it's time doing the actual service. So invested time and invested hours. So I wanted to make sure that I can keep up with people that were around me that were doing it, that were successful. So for example, I would go to those events, the networking. I think we met at the West Hartford Chamber, and I would see other digital agencies. And the number one thing I think is, how much time have they put into their craft? And if I can put the same amount of time in a shorter period of days, I can be as good as they are. So I really had the mentality of becoming the technician inside of my business, which would allow me to start teaching other people. And that's what allowed me to scale, was the ability to teach other people my strategies, and then they can use it for our clients, which allowed me to obviously get more clients at the time. Because as you know, if someone sees your video and they like it, they're going to search who Direct Line Media is, and they're going to hire you. So I figured if I put time into the work that we do, obviously we're going to grow.
So you have a way of doing whatever it is you do. So
Yep.
you taught that method for people to sell that method. So is that? I mean, I don't know. It's probably a stupid way of putting it, but is that kind of how it is? So you.
Yep.
So that way you're not doing all the work, right? Because that's the whole idea.
Nope, I'm not doing all the work, but we definitely, other people innovated as well.
Cool.
So I took my philosophy on how digital marketing works, and then I presented it to other people, and they're in the room.
Sure.
And they innovated themselves on different ways of doing it that I can't see because I have my area of expertise, which is SEO. So search engine optimization, which
Sure.
I'm pretty sure every viewer knows.
Sure.
But for example, like Evan, he innovates web design, and he innovates different ways on creating it. And that's just an example. And that's stuff that I didn't personally know a lot about, but I did know the traffic part and the SEO and the optimization and what people think when they go onto a website. So from that, my perspective on how things worked, I taught that to other people, and they innovated their own way of doing it, and it combined perfectly. And then customers started getting more results. And then as that started to happen, people were curious as to what we can do for them. That's how we grew. Yeah. So we weren't doing, like you probably saw, I stopped visiting the Chamber of Commerce, not even chamber, just every meeting, because the time I was spending there fishing for new business, I could spend on the business I already have. And that mentality is what immediately started getting me more contacts.
And you're always learning, I take it. 'Cause,
100%.
I mean, it's every day, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I invest in a few programs right now. Larry Janeski, which you're very familiar with, he has a program. It's about $500 a month.
Before you get into that, quick, people who might not know who Larry Janeski is, let's hear a quick couple minutes on who he is and why why do you follow him? Why is it important to growing your business?
Great question. Larry owns a company called Connecticut Basement Systems. They're in Seymour, and they do basement waterproofing. But that's not why I follow them, right? It's the only business owner that I've ever seen have a successful business and coach at the same time. So there's a lot of coaches that I meet that haven't run businesses. They're just coaches, immediately going to coach, which doesn't make sense to me. But when you look at someone like Larry, have you ever seen his headquarters in Seymour?
Just images, just pictures.
Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
insane. It's huge. You got hundreds of trucks lined up, and he just knows how to grow a business based off of the the mentality of you can't do everything by yourself. And the moment you put things down and you say, I can't do this by myself, I need help, is the moment when you start to grow your business. So I pay for his education because I know it's backed with 30 years of experience. It's backed with knowledge. It's backed with, expertise. And there's a lot of business coaches out there that will tell you, here's the pathway to go. The problem with those people is they don't have a real business. They're just coaches. Mm-hmm. So I've fallen for those. I have. And I didn't know better. And then once I really started understanding on how to properly pay for education, how to vet out education, I started getting the gold mines and started really understanding where can I extract information to better my company.
Like a business coach, is that an important part of somebody's brand new starting up a business? You think that's important for them to look at a business coach or something like that?
I don't think so.
No?
I think the most important thing, and you might agree with this, is doing the physical work. You have to become the technician of the business before you can transcend into the manager.
Did you have, when you were starting out a couple years ago, whenever it was, did you have like a goal, like I want to be this, or did that sort of, or did it, I'm sure you did, mm-hmm. but is that where you are today, or mm-hmm. did it go somewhere different and it's good too?
That's a really good question. I've always wanted a team of people that I can, so how our service works is there's usually a website person, there's usually a different graphics person, there's usually someone else that's doing the SEO, there's usually so many different people, different companies that a customer has to talk to get one job done. I'm sure this is a similar thing with video, right? Mm-hmm. And the reality of it is we want to create a firm. So when you look at a lawyer, a law firm might have an injury lawyer, it might have a divorce lawyer, it might have a criminal lawyer, whatever it is, and that's inside of that law firm. Mm-hmm. I want the comfortability of when clients come to me and they're paying, let's say, $1,000 a month, that I can easily say, look, we need this design graph, we need this for that, and we don't have to charge that. I want it to be that retainer model.
You got it.
To where they're paying you $1,000 a month, but that includes a little bit of everything, because customers in reality, they don't want to have to send different emails to contact different people to do different things.
Well, even working with contract now, I hire a lot of contractors and they're really great folks. But once you start bringing people in house, first of all, you're going to be saving money. Mm-hmm. One, so you can maybe pass that along to your client, mm-hmm. customers, and two, just the turnaround is faster. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you see something that's not right, you don't have to wait for this guy to do it and send it to you. You see it, it's wrong. You got to send it back. He does it. You know what I mean? You're all right here working together. Mm-hmm. So that's got to be a huge benefit to have everybody in the same building.
Yeah. And the benefit also is the quality of it.
Yeah.
So like when you outsource to a contractor, they're busy doing other things in the reality of the scope of things, which we're not against. We don't enforce strict non-competes or things like that, but I want to make sure that what we're doing is priority, because in my mind, it's priority to me. So in the client's mind, it should be priority. And once we started doing the work inside because I used to outsource. I used to use companies like Fiverr, Upwork, whatever it may be, to send off tasks. And you wait 7 days to get something back, and it's misspelt, and it's not a good design, and it's not done right. And then you have to take the burn from the client. So if we have everything in-house, we're able to just buffet style type of service it.
Awesome.
When generally, like a regular buffet, like a Chinese buffet, the food's terrible because it's low quality.
Yeah.
But when there's one person specifically focused on one thing,
depends where you go. I mean, I do a lot of Chinese.
The general buffet style, right?
Right.
They're not focused on one type of food. They're offering a range of food. So one food isn't that great. But we want to create a culture to where there's experts in one area of service that work on one account.
What's your main focus? What's your bread and butter, I guess? Like, what do you do best, your business?
In terms of service or like leadership?
In terms of service. If a client were to call you, what calls do you want?
Generally speaking, we want the person that already has a vendor that is dissatisfied with their vendor and they're already paying for everything.
So this vendor would be what? Web services, SEO services, graphic design services? Ads, all that kind of, so ads, okay. Yep. Tell me about ads. Before this started, we were talking about Google a little bit. So I'm going to pick your brain on that a little bit because, man, I was on there today and, they make it sound like, how do I fix this? And no, you just click on that. So I think a business owner can do it themselves, mm-hmm. but is it cost effective? Mm-hmm. And I would have to say absolutely not, mm-hmm. Unless you're going to spend every Saturday and Sunday learning Google, because during the week you're working, right? Mm-hmm. Do you do a lot of Google stuff?
Yes, we manage a good amount of Google advertising. The reality is Google's going to machine learning. So pretty soon, a business owner is going to be able to just turn on a Google ad and it's going to work as good as an agency is to work it. That's the reality that we're in. We are not scared of that, though, because before we even ask that question, we want to know, is the foundation prepared to start doing advertising? How does your website look? Do you have case studies? Do you have reviews? Do you have content on there? Because if you're sending Google ads to a website that's not functioning based on the science of data science and digital marketing, you shouldn't be running ads anyways.
Yeah.
So we build the foundation. That's generally when a customer comes to us and they say, hey, we want to run ads. And then we go, okay, well, your website's missing 1,000 things. You don't even have pictures, custom, you don't have anything. There's no call to actions. There's no white label things. There's no, white papers. Like for you, it would be like 12 ways to create great video for dentists if that's who your target was, right? And then you go into your 60-second service. But ideally speaking, we pitch the foundation first and then we do the advertising. So ideally, yes, you can hire an expert to do your Google ads, but in reality, they're managing other Google ad accounts. And unless you're working with a very reputable and expensive agency, your account may not mean as much as to them because they're managing 200. So learning, Google knows this. And Google wants to empower the business owner to make them decisions themselves because there's more retention as well. So
you wouldn't, if somebody comes to you with a real crap website and they say, I'm not ranking well, just, make it rank for me. You're going to be like, well, yeah, I'd love to, but your website's horrific. We need to fix it. Is that a response you would give them? Or you'd be like, yeah, I'll just do it.
Do we take any clients unless we redo their website? Nope.
Cool.
I don't
Awesome.
care if you have a beautiful website, we're redoing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And the reality is because when I was doing that, our retention rates were really low. So customers it'd be easy to cancel our service because one, they weren't getting results. That's the number one reason we lose clients is they're not getting business results. Two is it's too easy for them to say no. It's too easy for them to cancel because when we design and manage the website, we have complete control as to what goes where on that website. So when we do the marketing, they get better results.
Nice. I'm going to backtrack a little bit, and we never really talked about how you came up with your company, where you came from, and why you named it DeveloMark. So I'm going to start with that.
It's a funny story.
So let's hear it. DeveloMark. Let's hear
All right. So when we started, I was going to name it Naugatuck SEO Company. And that's a really bad name for several reasons.
Yeah.
One is obviously I'm not in Naugatuck anymore.
Right.
So creating a location like Direct Line Media, brilliant name.
Sure. Thank you.
Because you're not local, you can grow. So DeveloMark, I started thinking, let me think of something different because I bought the domain Naugatuck SEO Company, which was a terrible name. But the coaches and consultants were telling me to buy the city plus the name. Okay. I'm sure you've seen that, Hartford SEO.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I started thinking about what is it that I actually do. And back then I was nowhere near what I am now. And I kind of thank myself for thinking this way. And it really inspires me because I thought of, well, what do? I will develop your marketing. And that's where I thought of just making it one name, DeveloMark. And
oh, cool.
Yeah. So I bought the domain name and initially everybody was like, why'd you name it that? And I was like, I don't know. And then over time, it started to become brandable. Yeah. And something that is completely unique. And now it gets 1,400 searches a month.
Dude, that is a brilliant name.
Yeah.
Develop your marketing.
Yeah.
DeveloMark.
That's what I was going to name. I was going to name it Develop Your Marketing, but it was too long.
Yeah.
So I condensed it into DeveloMark.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes a lot of sense because it has development in there. Because that's what we do is development. Yeah. It has Mark, which is marketing. So I'm very proud of it now. Looking back, when I was regretting it the first year.
That's cool. So what's your logo about? Tell me, describe. We can throw something on the screen, but describe your logo to us.
We're like a mechanic, so we work on other people's cars, but we don't work on ours. So our logo right now is an atom, and it signifies science.
Okay, cool.
So what we do is very scientifical, and we use data science to make decisions on what it is that we do. So what we do at the company is we use a tool called Hotjar. And Hotjar allows you to install a code on your website that allows you to see where people click. And that's data science, right? Mm-hmm. And we can make recommendations on a website based on where people click, and that's where we got the atom from. because a lot of what we do is scientific. Google search is scientific, advertising is scientific. So we thought of an atom. We recently had a conversation of a complete rebrand, but that's still, year or two out.
You're gonna keep the name though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's awesome,
You can't
man.
change the name.
No, you can't change it.
You know,
That's cool.
and I'm glad, if anybody's watching this, I'm glad that I chose something that didn't include my name as well as didn't include like a location.
Yeah.
Because-
No, that's important. And the reason I went with Direct Line Media is because I didn't want my name.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of companies out there, and it's great. It's,
people
it's
do
good. Because my ultimate goal is I don't have to be, I don't want it to be all about me.
No.
Like it can't be.
Nope.
I don't want it to be.
Nope.
So Direct Line Media,
Yep.
video production company. So, and I use media instead of, and the whole thing was just about looking to the future. I don't know where it's going to go, but I just want to be open to what comes down the line. And so far it's worked. It's been
And you
good.
look at like JP Morgan,
Yeah.
it worked, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, I think a level of resentment starts to happen in the workplace when you have your name all everywhere.
Yeah.
So at one time I had ruanmarino.com as my website, and my good friend and business colleague Mike Ferreri, he told me that it's a terrible idea, and he was strong enough to tell me. So I immediately changed it back to DevelopMark because I was like, that's so egotistic.
Yeah.
And personal branding is great, and putting yourself out there is great. But when people are working for a company, they want to feel as if they're a part of something, and it's not all about you. So you're absolutely right about that.
I have a funny story. So when I first started the business, I needed a website. So I reached out to this guy who I met at a job or something, and I explained. He says, "Yeah, send me some stuff, and I'll put something together for you." So I sent him some headshots and some copy and all this stuff, and I explained. I said, "It's not about me; it's about the business, and so on and so forth." I get this thing back. It was actually nicely done, but it was all me. It was like my head, my entire face was the background, right? And then all the text was on top of that, and I was like, yeah, no, that's not gonna fly, man. We're not doing that.
We need a redesign.
Yeah. So anyway, I ended up with what I have now, and I'm super happy. So
Yeah.
how do you? I'm going to start this question a little bit earlier. How do you wake up in the morning? So I always ask this question to people: is your brand with you all the time? In other words, when you're getting dressed in the morning, are you representing? Is DevelopMark actually Ruan, or is it? Because when you go out and you're talking, right, you're representing your company. So is everything you do sort of representative of? Is it all branding for you?
That's a really interesting question I never thought of. I think I have two separate brands. I think I have Ruan Marinho, which is like YouTube, and that's like where I teach personally what I know. And then I think there's DevelopMark, which is a collaborative effort of multiple different people that also invest in their expertise, which then they share through DevelopMark and not Ruan Marinho. So no, I think when I wake up, it's about me and it's about Ruan Marinho, but then when I walk into DevelopMark at 9 a.m., it's about the company.
Gotcha.
So
Cool.
I've thought about that, and that's a big challenge that we have right now is how do we shift my online followers to go more towards DevelopMark and stop asking for me? Because a lot of people, they see me online, and they want to talk to me because they think I have all of this time and I'm not running a business and I could just answer questions freely. It's a problem,
Sure.
It's the free advice that everybody's looking for, which
Sure.
I'm more than grateful for the contacts that we get. But at the end of the day, I want people to start asking for other people, and that's where I have to get better as a leader, is empowering other people and giving them more opportunity so they can become the asset that does that type of stuff, so I can continue focusing what I do best, which is creating video and creating content and building relationships and networking and speaking. So that's what you just said is the biggest problem I have right now in my personal development, is figuring out how to empower other people so it is all about DevelopMark rather than just about Ruan Marinho.
Would you put somebody else as the face of DevelopMark?
100%.
You would?
If it
Okay.
was the right fit, the right person, I would 100% do that.
Would they have, I don't know how you run your business, would they have a stake in actually running the business, or would they just be a face to the company?
I would do,
Or you just don't
it would
know
be
yet?
steak.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be steak. At the end of the day, there's a lot of talented people in this room specifically. There's a lot of talented people back at the office. There's a lot of talented people in the world. And Walmart, when they started, I don't know if you've ever read Sam Walton's book. It's amazing. He was giving people that opened up their own Walmart store 5%, 10%. And that founder mentality made them that's why they are where they are today,
That's interesting. So everybody hits on Amazon all the time. I don't know what your feelings are about Amazon, but I read somewhere a while ago that I don't know what the offer was, but I don't know if they were giving people money or giving them trucks or doing something, but basically getting them set up So they'd own their own Amazon delivery business. So they would deliver exclusively for Amazon, but it would basically be, I mean, it'd be their own company. They'd be like, you know, and they would invoice Amazon. I don't know how it works. You know, there's a lot of hate on Amazon. I get it, whatever. But I think for the company to do something like that, to empower people to not just be an employee, but to actually give them the ability to grow and get them started, so they could start driving a truck, and now they got 10 trucks with a bunch of drivers. I mean, that's what they're giving people. So that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of a cool thing, I thought.
And you see people like Jeff Bezos who have no ego in the world, right? That's why his company is as big as it is. The ego is what brings your company a lower value. If you have no ego and you give it all away, that's what grows. Now, the reality is when Walmart was starting, it was more difficult to create a business because you had to have in-person relationships, you had to have connections, you had to have, you know, these connections. Now, anybody can go online and start creating a following, right? So therefore, they start building an asset to any company, which automatically moves you into partnership level, or else they're going to start their own thing. And it's, you know, I personally haven't gone through that yet. I know I will, so I'm already prepared for it mentally. But it's one of those things where if you can prevent that by giving people other opportunity, we know a lot of agencies that do that. So we model after that because it's going to happen. You know, somebody's going to come into your video business, Dave, one day and say, you know, Dave, I love you. I think everything's great, but you know, I'm gonna start my own business, and you're just gonna have to take it. It is what it is. Now, if you were to look at a different methodology of actually giving them a piece of your business, maybe you like doing the nonprofit stuff, right?
Sure.
Maybe they own that part, and they can focus on that part. So that's one thing that I know is gonna come, and I'm very prepared for it.
That's awesome. So I hope somebody doesn't come in and want to take over my business or take a piece of it. You know?
Not take over, but they want to do their own thing.
I think it's funny you brought that up because I think there's a point where I'm going to want to step away from a lot of the day-to-day, not day-to-day, I take that back, a lot of the production, a lot of the actual physical work. I think I'm at a point now where I like doing it, but I don't think I can do it, not for the direction I want to go. And I think that's really important. I think being able to brand online and have all those outlets to really force your brand out there. I mean, literally force it. And what I thought was cool is that LinkedIn now, I've been pushing that a lot, and obviously Instagram and Facebook, but it allows you to brand in different ways, and I think differently as well. So I think, you know, you're more the expert at this than I am, I think, as far as advertising, but, you know, I think putting the same thing out there and bombarding people with the same brand all the time, I think gets redundant. I think it needs to have similarities, but do you think it should be? You think it should be different every time, or similar every time, or the same thing, hammering it down everybody's throat every time? What are your thoughts on that?
I think advertising needs to be the same thing, hammered down everybody's throat at the same time. I think native curated stuff needs to be engagement. So like you commenting on a prospect's post 365 days out of the year. And if you're making videos and you're publishing your work, that's fine and great and dandy. And that works, you know. But if you're engaging and you're actually getting involved with that business that you want to get as a customer, like for example, if one of your targets was Walt Disney Company and you wanted to get in with the media department and you know become one of their contractors that makes videos, your best bet would be connecting with that person on LinkedIn and engaging with everything that they post. And LinkedIn, the Sales Navigator tool, gives you an update every time they post if you follow them. So then you can just say, this looks awesome. And eventually, Dave, that's the guy that always comments on my videos. And then you post they connect with you, you post a video that you like, that you've made, and there you go. They remember you. Now, if you're advertising, if you're gonna reach out to someone on LinkedIn, message them personally and say, hey, I see you work at Disney. Do you want a $10,000 video? It's not gonna work. Because they get that all day. And so do I, and so do you.
Sure.
So I think engagement is key there. So if you can create a strategy where you engage with people rather than promote the same thing over and over again, unless you're paying for ads, like billboards, they're not engaging. They're just in your face, right? But they work because it takes time. But if you want to get that main name recognition on social media, you got to engage with other people's content.
Do you help your clients engage on social media?
We do not.
You don't. So that's up to them.
Yep, that's up to them. And that's primarily because we don't make enough money to hire somebody to take on that job. We would like to.
Okay.
Right now, it's just not realistic.
But that is something that you would do, and maybe in the future. That is a business.
It is a huge business.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's, you got to log in, you got to understand who your targets are, you got to comment on their stuff, it's a lot of work.
And you got to understand who your client is too, right?
Right.
You got to talk in almost in their words, right? You can't
Right.
you can't use your words.
Right.
You got to
Pretty
know
much.
your client really well.
Yeah, it's true. And so it is its own job, which we
Yeah.
just can't afford right now.
But that's crazy because, you could spend, I've ramped up my social a little bit in the past couple of months, and you need to schedule, man. It's just something you schedule into your workflow.
It's like working out.
You got to put it in there. It's
Gotta
like
put it
every morning for 2 hours. That's what I'm doing. And it's just something.
Because your customers, like the marketing directors of businesses, which I'm sure have reached out to you,
Yeah.
they need a video. They're on
Yeah,
social
they
media.
do.
They're on
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
yeah.
The founder may not be, but the marketing director
Yeah,
is.
the marketing director is.
And
Yeah,
those are the people those are the easiest sale I found.
Yeah.
Is when you're talking to the marketing director because they see eye to eye with you because that's their job and they've been tasked to go find a video person. And if you can create that name recognition with them, when they think of video, they're not going to search Google. They're going to think of Dave Chmielewski from Direct Line Media. I see his stuff on LinkedIn all the time. He's always messaging my stuff.
Yeah.
That's how you want to be.
Do you do? I mean, you said you trailed off a little bit on the chamber face-to-face stuff, but do you still do a little face-to-face? Where do you get most of your work? Let me ask you that. Is it referral? Is it Google searches? Is it face-to-face stuff? Where do your clients come from?
That is a metric that we don't have hard numbers on.
Okay.
Because we recently started using a customer relationship management tool, and which will tell us that data. But I do believe that most of my customers come from my videos on YouTube.
Awesome.
And the reason for that is because in my industry, as in your industry, you have tricks of the trade. And you don't want to show people those tricks of the trade because you think someone's going to steal your business. And that's the employee mindset. The founder mindset is, who cares? If somebody wants to steal my business, they're going to do it anyways. And when customers see that I'm showing what I'm doing on a customer that I already have's perspective, and I'm putting everything up front, and I'm saying, this is how I'm doing this is how I'm doing this, they already have trust. They go, this guy has the nuts to go online and post stuff and show what he's doing. Isn't he scared people are going to steal his business? Let me see what he could do for me. And they call us through the website.
I think that's getting more and more. I think there used to be, I mean, even in the video world, everything was so close to the chest. But there's so many people doing so many different things, and it's because it's more about like, this guy can do that. It's like, I kind of like that guy. Like, he can do that too, but something about that guy. So it's interesting. People are putting everything out there. Like, not really trade secrets, but definitely a lot more of the kind of day-to-day stuff of what's in their head and how they work with clients, how they fix problems, which is unheard of. You never distribute that stuff. Now it's all over the place.
One of our clients, Kevin Rockoff, me client, you and I.
Yeah.
He pisses a lot of people off.
Yes, he does. Well, he was on here a few weeks ago.
He pisses a lot of people off.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because he's putting the real estate game on blast.
Yeah.
And he's saying people are making too much money, and this is how much we should be taking as realtors, and here's everything you need to know. And that's putting his business at vulnerability, but it also is the reason why he gets all the listings.
He's a whole nother conversation. I think what he's doing is great. I mean, he's talking about utilizing the internet and really what it's for. I mean, right? He's killing it out there. It's just like, why not?
Yeah.
So he's a good dude. So where the hell was I going? I had another question lined up and I lost it. So let's talk about this. So future, right?
Yep.
I'm just going to jump right there and I'll back up a little bit later.
Yep.
What's in store for the future?
I would like Develomark to be the company that people immediately think of when they hear web design, SEO, digital marketing.
Do you want more offices? Like around the country, state, region?
You've noticed this. Your best clients are local.
Yeah.
And I would like to have multiple offices and hubs. So what I mean by a hub is I would like to have a chief, officer in Miami, and a chief officer in Dallas, and a chief officer in San Francisco, and they're running those hubs. And I'm in Connecticut, let's say, or wherever it is that I am. And I would like to give my portion of the business as partnership to people throughout hubs. And that's what Boston Consulting Group is. And they're an $8 billion consulting firm. And I'm sure I'm not going to be there. I don't know. But they're doing it that route because they know that the shorter distance you are traveling to a client, the better that relationship's going to be, especially if they're giving you a lot of money. So I'd like to be face-to-face with people. We have clients that we love in Los Angeles, and I've never met them in person. My team just met them because they were in Utah.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
it's always better in person.
Can your company franchise?
Absolutely. And we've gotten several requests. We've got a guy in Dallas that sells for us, but he doesn't get paid a dime unless he does just commission, and he markets Develomark at his chamber. So we can franchise. Once again, I'm just not experienced enough to do that.
Okay.
I can see it in the future. I just
Yeah.
don't have the monetary value and capacity and experience to do that.
So how does that work? You got a guy where?
Dallas.
In Dallas, and he sells for you?
Yep.
And then he gets commission of what he sells?
Yep. We have requests like that all the time. Hey, I want to sell websites. How can I do this? You know, and at that point, I don't have the physical. I'm so focused on our clients right now. I don't have the physical time to create an infrastructure around that because that's not my focus right now.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
in the future it will be.
Sure.
That's what Larry did.
One thing at a time.
That's exactly what Larry did.
Yeah.
He said, look, I have this process for basement companies. You can take a piece of this process. It's going to cost you this. You can use my name. You can use my branding. You can use my logo. You can use my tagline. You can even use my website. And then we just take a piece of it. And that's what he's done, and he's very successful with it.
Nice. What's your YouTube channel about? What do you talk about?
So my YouTube channel is the reason why SEO companies don't like us. It's like Kevin with the 1%.
Yeah.
It's exposing everything that SEOs charge you to know. And because of that, we get a lot of leads from it, first of all. And second of all, I'm exposing everything that we're doing. Not everything, but I'm making videos about what we're doing behind the scenes with a client and how they're getting results.
Why does a customer call you? So you're putting that all out there on YouTube, but they're going to call you anyway and hire your services. Is it this
Because-
they tried it and they can't get it, or what?
Because marketing companies are sketchy and they don't want to post stuff online because they're using corner cuts and they're doing things that shouldn't be done. And they see me being transparent and they like it and they call us and they know they don't have time for it. It's
Right.
kind of like people that watch workout videos but don't actually work out. It's like me. I want to know what's healthy to eat, but I don't eat healthy. And you want to know. You definitely want to know, but you don't want to do it. And people
that
will
makes
call
total-
us because of it.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, okay. Now I know exactly how I need to do this, but I just don't have the time. So
Or
this
the
guy's cool.
expertise. I mean,
Or
you
the
wanna
or the-
learn.
or the expertise.
Yeah, or the capacity to implement
Time
it.
is money, right? I mean, they could probably do it, but it might take them 4 days, or you could do it in a half hour.
Like,
or
Mr.
whatever.
Customer, are you better off getting more personal injury cases or are you better off making your website? You know, it's like your
Yeah.
time is better spent
Oh my
elsewhere.
God,
It's
man.
opportunity cost.
I said, all right, I'm going to build my own website. I can learn how to code, right? So totally, that's what I said to myself. I could do this. So I go online. I'm like, I Google like how to code, and I come this is a website I go to, and it's like, it's, whatever the word was, and make a banner, and then do that. So I did all this stuff, and I did what I did, and I'm like, oh, that's great. Look at that. I made a banner and some stuff. That's awesome. So then it said like, you can look at the code for any website if you go to a website and like right click and
Page
whatever.
source, yep.
Page source, right? So I find like what I thought was a really simple page on the internet, and I looked at it. I was like, yeah, no, dude, I'm not doing that. It was like, yeah, no, I'm out.
It's
And
its
I
own
just-
expertise,
I'm done.
man.
Like I was in that for about a half hour and I quit.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
And I know how to make videos, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
you
when
do.
I know I need something done, I call you.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole different level of expertise.
Yeah, and that's fine. People ask me, well, what about the competition? Everybody has these phones. I'm like, that's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Because know what they do, just
Yeah.
like you said, they go and they know how to do it.
Yeah.
But then they understand, like, okay, I really need this, and I know I can't do that. Because
It's-
now they're educated,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all
And
about
it's,
education.
it's what you did for Rock Off as an example.
Yeah.
That's more than just a phone. That's acting. That's delegating. That's directing. That's location. That's so much more.
Yeah.
So it's a different caliber. And clients, they can build their own websites. Gianni maintained it all. He has a beautiful. I mean, his website. What would you say? It's fine.
It gets the job done.
It gets the job done, right? But he wants to take it to the next level. He wants to look like he's professional, and that's why he called us.
How important is a website? It used to be the end all be all. Is that the case now? Like, I mean, obviously you need to have certain words in there. It's got to look a certain way. But talk about websites. I remember website used to be like really super important. Like that was, you need to have a killer looking website. Can you comment on that a little bit?
How many business cards do you give out every week?
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but a number, yeah.
What's the number, do you think?
Oh God, it used to be, it used to be when I was really networking a lot, probably 15 to 20. Now it's maybe, a dozen or so.
Do you have to leave your bed to give out a business card?
Yeah, of course.
The
I do.
website is like giving your business card out all day without having to leave your bed,
Yeah,
because it's your online brochure. And, number one reason I stopped networking, which is terrible because networking is the best way we found to get, referrals and stuff, is because I just let the website work. And if the website's doing the heavy lifting, it's just going to become more important every single day. It used to be, I know what you mean. It used to be like, oh, you need a website. It's still the same way. And brands are looking at it as it is your business card, except you don't have to do anything to give it out. You just have to know how to use the internet and how to use the strategies to give your website out. For example, our client, Twin Plumbing, they get 13,000 visits a month.
Wow.
So that's 13,000 local people looking for plumbing. They don't have to give out a physical business card. Matter of fact, I don't even think they have business cards. But their website's getting so much traffic, they don't need it.
What's a good, what do you call that? Somebody goes to a website, was it a conversion? Somebody goes to the website and they either call you or email you. Mm-hmm. What's a good percentage? Like, what would somebody be comfortable with of a conversion rate?
2% is the average.
Okay, really?
If you can get a 5%, that's considered high. If you can get a 10%, you have a gold mine.
Wow.
So for every 10 people in your website, if one converts, you have a very good system. And that comes down to the speed of it, the design of it, the content on it, and who you are, right? Because if somebody types in Develomark Ruan Marinho, that's a different person that's typing in video company CT, right? It's just a different person. I'm already branded.
Yeah.
So the branded traffic is what you want, which is people that already know you. So when something happens, when your roof starts leaking, they don't
say that.
They don't think, not that, well, you're good, right? You ran, I don't know. But, you're not thinking of roofing company leak CT. You're thinking of armor shield exteriors, right? That's a different type of traffic. That's the traffic that's going to get you the 10%. The 2% is going to be the random ad that you put up online that's really badly made and your competitor's clicking on it. It happens, right?
Yeah.
That's the scary part with advertising. So you want to create that brand, which comes with what you do. Like you sponsor events with the West Hartford Chamber. You do this. If you were to look at your analytics, I'm sure your top keyword is direct line media. And that's what you want.
I was on there today. It's close to
what
the
is
top.
it? What's your top keyword?
For people clicking, I think it was like, it might have been like video production or Hartford or market or something like that. It was one of those.
And those are the people you have to convince.
Yeah.
And they've never met you before. That's where video sells it.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
So 2% is average.
Top three improvements somebody can make on their website to rank better in Google.
Hours spent doing the work. That's the number one reason.
So doing what work?
That work includes. We see a lot of websites where they'll say that they do. Let's use your business as an example. They do video. Okay. Well, how about the post-production? How about the pre-production? How about the scripting? How about the animations? How about the titles that you're using? Those all need to be separate pages on that website, separate pages of content. So when somebody types in script writing, that page shows up specifically. So hours of writing physically what you do and how you do it and how you're the best company and here's the reviews that we have, that's number one. Because
so content.
Absolutely. And posting on social media, it's just literally the hours spent doing it. So
so the more you have out there, the more chance of Google's going to pick you up.
If it's quality.
Absolutely. Let's assume that everything we put out there is quality.
Then yes, the more you put out there, the more chances of Google is going to pick you up. Google actually has millions of algorithm updates, and one of them is called caffeine. And it says if you can satisfy their caffeine update by consistently putting stuff on your website, they're going to index you faster and they're going to show you more because they know you're an active business doing it. If Google sees a website that hasn't posted something in 10 years, well, they think you're out of business. They don't know. So definitely posting quality, and consistently with relevant things that you do.
Do you have to update those? Let's say you post and you create a page and it's been there for a year. Should you go back and update it, do something, change a word?
Yeah, I mean, if you see that page
even
is
if
no longer,
even if it doesn't need it, like it's people,
If it doesn't need it, there's no need to update it.
Really?
Nope.
Okay, so if they're still finding it, people are still hitting it, then
no need.
Leave it alone.
Yep. Don't change what's working.
Okay.
And if it's on the first page and it's at the top and you see it go to the third page, something happened that you need to know about.
Interesting.
And that's generally an algorithm update that targeted your page specifically because they didn't think it was quality for the person that was searching.
Is that something you follow? You
Absolutely.
Follow people around. That's probably a big part of your business, right?
Absolutely. We're notified of every single Google update the moment it comes out. And the reason for that is, there's ways to trick the algorithm, as you definitely know. I mean, other SEO people, they always talk about it. There's ways to trick the algorithm, but it never works. It never lasts. Mm-hmm. And once you trick the algorithm and a Google update comes out and they're focusing on that trick, all your sites get penalized and you have a bunch of lawsuits on your hand. That's why we don't do any of that. We do all it's called white hat, and we just do everything clean, which is generating consistent content, getting the brand exposure that it needs organically, and then also just making sure that we don't promise things to people that we know are unrealistic. Like for me to tell a brand new plumbing business that they're going to rank number 1 on Google next week, unrealistic. And that's how you know you're a scam.
That brought me to my next question. If you are on the third page,
Yep.
and you do all the changes and you make it, optimized for Google, how long, roughly, does it get from the third to the first? Even not to the top ranking, but at least maybe in the top 5.
So that depends on various factors. The first one is how long have you been in business comparison to the person that's been in business for a long time on the first page. If you are brand new and there's a competitor that's been doing SEO and they're on the first page and they've been in business for 50 years, forget about it. So you have to know how to do market analysis. So now you say, forget SEO, let me focus on something else. Because if they've been in business forever and they're killing the SEO game, you can try to compete if you're an expert. But if you're a business owner that's doing it yourself, probably not worth to compete with them. Now, the second thing is how much brand recognition do you have? So a lot of the times we'll see websites that they don't even do their SEO, but they're still number 1 because so many people are typing in Sign Pro CT. You know Sign Pro, the sign company?
Yep.
Sign Pro, Sign Pro, Sign Pro, Sign Pro. Their website's crap. But it is. Pete, if you're watching this, it is. It's crap, but they're ranking number 1 because so many people are typing in Sign Pro. Google knows they're the sign company for Connecticut.
Interesting.
So it's an algorithm that really focuses on artificial intelligence and machine learning on how the public is searching for someone. It wants to show, Google's primary job, it wants to show the best result possible for the person searching so it can serve ads. That's it. So if people are typing in Sign Pro, they know that's the sign company. It doesn't matter how much you trick it.
That's awesome.
But we have ways of tricking it that are completely ethical. But
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, there's so many things out there, not just in your URL, but then on the page you got to put stuff. And just because that came to light just last week about the amount of pages that you need to put on your website, even if they're not like in the menu of your website, but
Hidden.
they need to be hidden, they need to be buried in there. Explain, because I've had a hard time kind of wrap my head around this a little bit. I mean, not really, it might be stupid, but like a landing page. Like, tell us educate us on really what is a landing page, how does it work, where do people go from there, what's the whole story behind a landing page?
Yeah, so if you're going to a trade show and you want to measure the effectiveness of how your staff performed at a trade show, you want to have a landing page so you can see exactly who came to that page and who opted in based on basic analytics. If you're running a billboard, you want to have a separate domain to see how many people type that in and go to that page to see what the ROI is on that. If you have vans and trucks on the road, you want to make sure that your domain is not your broad website. That's kind of hard to track, right? But if it's a landing page, you can visibly see how many people are coming to that actual page based on that marketing source that you're doing. So for example, when you sponsor West Hartford Chamber, right? When you sponsor those things that like the Out for Businesses, if you had 60secondvideo.com and that was its own landing page, you can quickly see how many people from that event are searching. And that's how we use landing pages for our clients.
How do you know they're from that event? How does that work?
Because you only showed that domain at that event.
Oh, cool. All right. Oh, interesting.
So if you have Direct Line Media, is that your domain now?
DirectLineMediaProductions.com, yeah.
Perfect. That's everywhere. That's in the search engines. That's on your business cards. You can't track that.
Okay.
But if you have a domain that's 60secondvideo.com and you just duplicate your website on that domain, which is very simple to do with WordPress, I think that's what you're using.
WordPress, yeah.
Yeah, you can duplicate the same design you have on one domain. Very simple to do. And you would now be able to directly track how many people actually search that from that event. And with modern day conversion tracking, which is how many people call, how many people submit a form, you can see how many leads you got from that very quickly. So that's why when you look at these bigger companies, their business cards actually has the employee's name.com. So for example, with Larry, Connecticut Basement Systems, if I worked there, my business card would say ruanmarino.com, right? ruanmarinobasementsystems.com, whatever it is.
Yep.
Now they can track on a management level how many people are going to, how much are these guys giving business cards out? That's how you can track that type of stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, because I think there's different real estate companies that do that, and I've seen that, different businesses. I think a lot of like franchises or businesses like that do that. Yeah, I've seen that. So
Absolutely.
That's for tracking.
Yep, they use a different domain, Not only that, 60-second video. Direct line media productions. Which
Yeah.
one's easier to type in?
6-second video.
There
Yeah.
you go.
So every time I type that in, I'm like, oh, hang on, man, I got it really long. Like, what's your email address? I'm like, oh, hang on, it's gonna take a minute.
Just take my business card.
It's so much easier. So yeah, I've thought about it. Actually, I just bought the domain dlmpro.com.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna change everything on my business card.
Make it shorter.
I'm gonna make it shorter.
Yeah.
I just bought that. I didn't know it was for sale, and I was on with the guys at GoDaddy, and the guy mentioned, he's like, have you ever thought of dlmpro.com? He's like, it's available. I'm like, all right, I'll buy it.
Sounds good.
So yeah, so I bought it because I think that's because I have heard the sigh on the phone, or like, dude, that's really long.
Like, what is it?
Email address. I'm
What
like,
is it?
yeah.
And then they send it to the wrong email.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that's does that play a factor, you think? Like, somebody has some long ass email? Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100% it plays a factor. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You want to create something that people can easily remember.
Yeah.
With us, it's develop mark.
Develop mark.
They put the P in there.
Oh, they put
And that's not how you spell it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we should probably buy developmark.com and redirect it.
Go ahead, guys. Try that now.
Knowing us, somebody's already taken it, and they're going to hold us hostage for it in a couple of years.
Yeah.
They probably already took it. People do that. But, I would shorten it if you can, and your email is going to be a lot easier to say, and then just redirect your website. So when people go to Direct Line Media Productions, it redirects to DLM Pro.
Yeah, awesome. How many people how many people do you have on staff now?
I don't know.
More than 6?
By the way, Develop Mark is available, but for $2,000.
Great.
Oh, there you go.
Being held hostage.
Yeah, awesome.
Sounds good. Buy it, Kyle. How many people do we have on staff?
10, 13.
Okay,
Oh yeah, we just brought on a couple new people.
13.
that's cool.
13 total.
Yeah.
2 new people starting.
They're not all full-time, though. So
Yeah,
it's a good balance. Most
Yeah.
are full-time, though.
So what's your day like? It's probably mostly kind of figuring out how I'm going to grow the business, how you're going to grow the business, right?
Uh-huh.
What's next in line for Develomark?
Uh-huh.
What's your next YouTube video going to be? Do you spend a lot of time with clients? Do you spend a lot of time troubleshooting with clients, or do you spend more of your time troubleshooting with your staff? Or a little bit of both?
I'd like to spend more time with the staff, but I love doing the work.
Okay, you do.
That's my problem. And
Okay.
I'm sure that's yours, too.
Yeah.
I love doing the work. And that's that, mentality I got to get out of.
Is it loving doing?
Or making sure it's done right?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
No, I legitimately just love doing the work.
Okay.
And I think it's, with SEO, with video, with anything that's creative, there is a result to it. So Paul is designing a helmet that's going to be seen for how many people?
A lot of people.
A lot of people. Okay. So, that design has a result. So a lot of people are going to see this stuff. So I like seeing that result. So if I can rank a keyword higher on the Google search engines, what's going to happen is my customers are going to get more results. I like doing that testing. It's like a scientific type of thing. But a part of me also knows I can't pass on some stuff if I can't get more customers and I can't grow the business if they don't know more than I do. If people that I work with don't know more than I do, because that's the end goal.
You want them to know more than you do.
I have to do that.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
I have to. And it's for a lot of people that's scary because they think they're going to take their business. But to me, it's like, whatever. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It is what it is.
Yeah,
But my average day is I at night, I'll probably stay up until like 1 a.m. just stalking competitors. Believe it or not.
Really? Okay.
Believe it or not, yeah. A lot of people say don't look at competitors. I think that's bullshit. You know what I mean? I just think it is. Like
Yeah.
if your next door neighbor gets their landscaping done, you're gonna peek.
Okay.
If your next door neighbor gets a new roof, you're gonna look. And I like doing that because it allows me to it shows me where their mistakes were and how they grew, and it allows me to carve out a clear path for us.
So do you look at sort of how they run? Do you look at their clients and what their clients are doing? Is that sort of what it is? Okay.
I look at their clients. I look at their social media. What are they posting? Because that tells me a little bit about their culture. I buy services from them. So a lot of people won't do that. I actually buy services from my clients or from competitors. And now there's no guessing game. I can grow because I know where their mistakes were. They've worked 30 years to build that business. I immediately, in one transaction of $20,000, I know exactly what they're doing day in and day out. And we did that with one big competitor, and now we're going to do it with a few others, because I just like to know. You think the guy from eBay doesn't buy stuff on Amazon? Of course he does. He wants to know what they're doing.
Yeah, sure.
It's like you think
Sure.
Target doesn't go to Walmart and buy stuff, and they have secret shoppers that do that? Of course they do.
Yeah.
It's competition. It's a game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if a football,
You like the game? You like the game? You like growing and the competition and figuring out who's doing what and how you're gonna maybe beat them or kind of do something different? I mean, is that part of it every day?
I want to kill him, man.
Yeah.
I want to kill them,
Yeah.
and not because I don't. If I kill them, it's not like they're going to go out of business.
Sure.
There's plenty of people that want video.
God, yeah.
There's plenty of people that want SEO.
Oh my God.
And the reality is
There's gonna
people
be
are going to
more
buy
tomorrow,
from people
yeah.
they like, and not everybody likes me. Not everybody likes you.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Yeah. Hey,
So,
hey.
but I just saying, it's the truth. But I do like the thought of being number one,
Yeah.
because it's a good goal to strive for. You can't be above number one.
No,
So
you can't.
if you settle for number 3, so be it.
Yeah. That's cool. You're gonna kill him. Yeah. No, I'll kill him. Have you? So you haven't changed your path. You haven't gotten to a point where you're like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna kind of do something different. This is all. I mean, you've had this planned out, and you're going full steam ahead, and nothing's wavered.
Yeah.
Have you dove into stuff that you didn't think you'd be diving into? Or it was everything was for the taking is in your sort of broad spectrum of the services. I mean, everything was at
Services, no.
Okay.
Relationships, yes. Never that I think I would have some of the relationships I have now.
Like what?
Well, there's like definitely, staff. I didn't think I was going to have staff. I thought I was always just going to be one guy, with maybe like 1 or 2 just doing stuff.
How was it hiring that first person?
It was completely forced on me.
Okay.
Yeah, Tom Karras, he just walked into the office and he was like, "Hey man, what do you do here?" And I'm like, I do this. Let me show you. You know Tom, right? So
I think so.
He's a great guy, and he comes in and he's like, "Yeah, I'm wiping ass right now," and I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great, man. Keep doing that." And he goes, "No, I want to work here," and I'm like, "For what? I can give you like $1,000 a month." Barely. I could barely do that. I was making like $3,000 a month at the time.
Yeah.
As a business. So he goes, "Yeah, I'll do it," and I'm like, "All right,
Were
fine."
you in Southington?
I was in that space.
So you're in that space.
Yeah. And he just
And it was just
he
you.
assumed the job. So I was like, "Yeah, you can keep coming back. Like that's the attitude I want." So did Evan. Assumed the job. So did Kyle. Assumed the job. Paul's a little different.
I just kind of walked in too.
Yeah, just people
That's
walking
awesome.
into my place. I'm like,
Kept showing up.
That's crazy.
I can't say no. Like these guys are showing up.
I knew Evan from high school, and Ruan's like, "We need more people to do work," and I was like, "Evan."
Yeah. So my first hire
That's
was.
got to make you feel great though. Like just some dude. Like I don't know who you are, but yeah, I'm working for you. Like I how did he find it? Did he follow you on YouTube? Did he just
No, Tom I knew in high school.
okay?
Kyle we knew through a similar program that we went through. And then Evan knew Kyle. And then Paul and I went to high school.
Are you guys like? It's like every time I see you with your like entourage, like you got, right? Like you guys are always together.
Kind of sure,
Yeah,
Right.
we're like the Men in Black.
Yeah, it's like you're a unit. Like you don't go anywhere without each other.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I
That's
think
great though.
I think that it signifies like we are a team,
Yeah.
and Evan doesn't do what Paul does. Kyle doesn't do what Paul does. I don't do what Evan does. Kyle doesn't do what I do. So there's like that different angle when we go to an event, let's say.
And I think what's so great about that too, if you are at an event and there is a potential client or anybody, doesn't matter, and they ask you a question, you're like, instead of like, well, let me talk to Evan, I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Evan's right, hey, Evan, what do you think about that? Boom, answer. I think that's powerful.
And that's we have a
Is that by design or are you just guys
it's just natural.
it just kind of happens?
Yeah,
just the way
natural.
it,
Yeah,
that's the way it goes.
we're all friends.
Cool.
But we have an event coming up. It's a Plumbing and Heating Association event that we bought a booth at, and we're going to be wrapping a vehicle live while we're there, building a website live, and we partner with the association to send people our way.
Gotta
And Evan's
videotape
going to be
that.
building a website live, and if somebody wants to ask a question about a website, they go right to Evan.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to ask a question about the vehicle wrap, they go to my buddy Dave Riley.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's fun doing the teamwork stuff, and I'd rather not make money and be happy every single day.
Nice. I love that.
And don't get me wrong, it's like I'm not broke, but I also can be making a lot more money if I chose to go that route. That route has nothing in it for me, though. You know, it's like, okay, like you have all this cash, great. You know, you're lonely.
Did you chase the money at one time? Were you like, I'm making money? It was all about.
Nope.
No, never did.
I don't care about money that much.
Okay.
I like wearing nice stuff, but
Sure.
at the end of the day, the reason why I wear this is because I want to influence everybody else.
Yeah.
It's not because I want to look good. I do want to look good. Don't get me wrong. Everybody wants to
Yeah,
look
you
good.
look good, man.
But I want to influence. And if I can go to the office and know that I have a $35,000 overhead, which we do, I still am happy every single day. Because
Yeah.
I know when I come into work, you know, they're coming up to me and they're saying, look, did you know this? And I'm like, no, I didn't. And that's what keeps me going.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the mentality of, you know, not making money for the first 30 years, like Jeff Bezos. I'm nowhere near Jeff Bezos, but
Getting there.
it's that mentality of I'd rather be happy than have some money in my bank account. Bank
Yeah.
account's on fumes, trust me.
And
Personal.
it's important to have that you got to have like a. You can't just kind of go at it like trying new things every day. That's why I keep asking you that question, right? Like, did you go off on a tangent? Like, I think it's important. I think the reason for your happiness because you're not always thinking about where you're going to go next. You kind of know, where you're going. It's just like you're gonna. It's like, all right, I'm gonna. We have to get here, so I'm gonna do this. Have you made mistakes getting there that set you back? Have you ever been set back? Like a bad, you don't have to tell me details, but is there any like, all right, we got to get to this point, so we're going to do this. And did that backfire on you? Did that lead to bad results?
So far, no.
Cool. Nice.
Because it's shiny object syndrome.
Okay.
That's what it is I see all this stuff online and I want to put money in stock. But then I have to smack my millennial self and say, what are you doing putting money in stock when you could put money in your office and help the production value of your service? So real estate comes into conversation a lot with everybody at the office and like, I want to real estate invest. I want to do stocks. I want to start this type of business. We're going to do this. And in the reality of things, like I was just talking about this, Jeff Bezos doesn't have rental properties. Why would he do that? He can just put that money into Amazon and it's going to make a lot more.
Yeah.
So I never had shiny object syndrome only because I really look up to some of the local agencies that are here in Connecticut, Zero Gravity Marketing being one of them. I look up to those companies because like they're so focused on what they're doing. They're dedicated and they want to be the best. So you can't be the best when you're thinking about 5 other things. You have to focus on one thing. It's kind of like why you think of, when you think of steak, you think of Outback Steakhouse, Texas Roadhouse, because they're so focused on steak.
Yeah.
But the generalist restaurants, often the food's,
Right.
it's a little down. When you think of, theme parks, you think of Disney World because they're so focused on just that. So it's that niche thing.
Gotcha.
And I realized the more I work on one thing, the better I'm going to get at it and the better results I'm going to get.
Yeah.
And the better results I get, the more I get to pay everyone, the more everybody has sustainability, the more I can grow careers for other people and myself.
So it sounds like pretty much everything you can spare goes right back into the business.
100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Cool. How's your girlfriend feel about that?
She loves it.
Yeah. Cool.
She doesn't care about money either. And now we're on different levels though, Dave.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a kid and nothing wrong with it. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah.
So as of right now, I feel that's my direct competitive advantage.
Yeah.
Is I'm putting all my money back in.
That's awesome.
I don't care what Craig says. Craig. I don't care what Evan says. I don't care what Kyle. It's all going back right into the business, whether it's a trade show.
Because that's your investment. I mean, that's your stock market.
It's true.
I mean, you're a young guy. You got decades. Mm-hmm. I do too, but
You
not
definitely,
as,
we
not
both
as,
have a
just
lot
not
of
as many.
decades. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're
that's
right.
awesome.
You're right. It is my stock market and it's their stock market and it's my client's stock market.
Yeah.
And it's the community stock market. I pay tax. It's more than
true.
just about me.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're giving these guys a job. They go out, they take their money, and they spend it on
themselves,
shiny
hopefully, because they're
objects.
young and they don't have any, responsibilities. But, don't get me wrong. I think everybody should have a nice little car. Remember I gave you shit about the Outback?
Yeah. Dude, I sold it.
Oh, dude, you should have sold it to me. I would have bought it. It's
Oh, would you?
Best
It
winter
was a nice,
car.
man. No, I had to get rid of it. It went to the shop one too many times. Yeah, so it's done. Yeah, poor guy.
And don't even, like that stuff is great because you feel better in that. And when you
Yeah.
feel better, you feel more confident, you get a better result.
Yeah. No, that car. Yeah, wait, that's a whole nother podcast talking about that thing. Love that car. Love that car. I'm going to wrap it up. You got anything else? Because I'm good, man. I think this was, I'm so happy you came on the show.
Thanks, man.
I think
appreciate it.
hopefully all our listeners learned a little something. Ruan's an open book, so anybody want to learn something about anything or employ his services, man, please reach out. Tell people how they can get a hold of you.
You can get a hold of me by going to develomark.com or emailing Ruan, Ruan, @develomark.com.
Cool.
Or you can call us, which is the number on the website. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And then the last food for thought that I have
Please.
is be authentic. So throughout the conversation, you asked me certain things that, could have easily been demonstrated as, yeah, we have somebody doing social media, and yeah, I could throw in that little white lie, but that's just not the case. And I see so much with different people that are growing, specifically in my field, that throw out these little white lies because they want to make it seem like everything's okay. There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable, because being vulnerable creates the relationship with others. And that's why we like people like Dr. Phil. That's why we like Oprah. That's why we like other people, because they're vulnerable.
They're vulnerable,
and
yeah,
they show
absolutely.
themselves, and they show themselves naked in front of a stage. And people like that, because
Yeah.
I'm human too. So if there's any advice, I don't know who's watching, but I would just say be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And put yourself out there.
Dude, that is awesome advice, especially with the social media and so many people. I'm going to use the word posing, just for lack of a better term. Eventually, I think that I don't know how that works, because I don't. I think I try to be, as honest as I can, and in these conversations and with people and stuff. So I think that's huge advice. I think be vulnerable is very cool. I think it's a great takeaway. Thanks for
It's
that.
grown my business faster than a lot of people I know.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's hard to do because you want to seem like you know it all, but
Yeah.
you don't. You don't
But
know
you don't.
anything. I don't
Not
know
yet.
shit.
Yeah.
Or small. I don't care.
Yeah.
So that humility and that vulnerability is what we're going to continue to practice as we grow.
Awesome. Very.
Thanks
very
for having
cool,
me
man.
on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming. Thanks everybody for listening. Again, this is we throw these up there on YouTube and on Spotify and Anchor.fm and all those things. These usually go up there on Monday morning at 10 a.m. So please check us out. This is Dave signing off behind the brand. Thanks everybody. See you later.